everyone, welcome to Scene by Dawn. Today I'm going to be reviewing the movie Black Panther, the new Marvel comic movie. Black Panther is the king of Wakanda. No, T'Challa took it over from T'Chaka. Oh, I can't do these names. Honestly, can we just say Black Panther and his dad? T'Challa took over the kingship of Wakanda from his father, T'Chaka, after he died. And this movie is really like a foundational movie about who Black Panther is and what he stands for and the country of Wakanda and the different resources that they have and who they are as a people. And it's really sort of like a coming of age movie for Black Panther, really establishing him as a character and then launching him out into the world. Wakanda is this isolated country in Africa that has this amazing mineral resource that gives them all sorts of advancements in technology, and they're able to do all sorts of things, but they really keep it to themselves. And like at the beginning of the movie, I was thinking, you guys are kind of selfish jerks. Because like the rest of Africa, like as a continent, and even the world at large, like there's so many people who could benefit from this wisdom and from this technology and from this wealth of great resource, and you're just keeping it all to yourself. And to be quite honest, your buildings aren't that pretty, you know? So I was kind of like, you guys are kind of not nice. But then in the establishment of the story and Black Panther coming into his own and he's defending his kingship and he's going through all these different things, then we see that he's decided to launch out into the greater world. And then this of course sets the stage for Infinity War, which is coming up soon. Going into this movie, to be quite honest, I was like, ugh, how many comic book movies do we need? And I know the comic book fans would be like, oh, we need all the comic book movies. And I'm just like, ugh. Sometimes it feels a bit copy and paste. It's like, oh, the world's in danger, and oh, this comic book hero is gonna come in and save the day, and boo, pow, pa-chow, choo, do-do-do, and then there's a little bit of like identity crisis or a relationship problem, and then they have to work through that as they're saving the world, and then, oh, we saved the world. But I really found Black Panther to be refreshingly different, and I think it's because they did focus a lot on that foundational story and establishing who Black Panther is and like his suit and where that comes from. His sister was really funny. I think that like she's just a typical sibling. She had this model of different suits, and she's like, kick it. And so he does, and then it flies across the room. She goes, well, you don't have to do it that hard. And then she goes over and gets it and then drags it back. I could totally see my daughter doing that. I really appreciated the different parts of the African culture that were put in. Of course, Africa is a continent, it's not one country. So there's different cultural elements and there's different traditions, forms of dress, face painting or scarring that aren't widespread over the whole continent, but in different tribes, they use these as signs of heroism or beauty. I was sent a link to a video, which I'm gonna link to below. If you want to know more about the different African cultural elements that are displayed within the movie and understand what those are before you go in, I think it's a really interesting watch. It's only about 12 minutes, so take the time to watch it, and I think it will add a greater depth and enjoyment to Black Panther if you know those things ahead of time. Andy Serkis was a really great villain. He's always really good. It did take me a few minutes to realize who he was, and I was like, hold on a second, that's Gollum. And no, I really do sound like that in real life. Like, this isn't my real voice. This is my YouTube voice. But in real life, I talk like this. Angela Bassett is the queen of Wakanda. Oh, and isn't she just like the embodiment of female empowerment? Like, I just look at her and I feel stronger. Like, I just like her so much. Angela Bassett, you're my hero. I like you so much. I really enjoyed this movie. I found it refreshing. I found it very different. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. I'm not a huge comic book fan, so again, I'm not gonna know all the ins and outs and where this plays in. Does it really actually fit in accurately on the timeline between Civil War and Infinity War that's coming up? Like, I don't know. I don't know all of that stuff. All I know is that in this film, while I was watching it and not eating snacks, I want you all to remember that right now, I'm watching these films sans caramel cheese popcorn mix. That's a pretty big deal for me. I just want us to take a moment and think about it. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. I'm watching these films without any snacks, and in that moment in the film, I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I think Marvel fans will be happy with it as an establishment of the backstory of Black Panther, and then moving forward into Infinity War. I think it's a great lead-in. While we wait for, you know, the next comic book film, like, it just seems like there's comic book films that come in every 3 days. Doesn't it seem so? Like, when do you all read comics, honestly? Because you watch comic book movies, and then you go on forums and rip them apart, and then you play the video games, and then maybe there's a television show or two. And like, when does the comic book reading happen? That's what I'd like to know. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like Marvel Comics. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that little bell so you don't miss out on anything that I've seen by Dawn.